it's been a week. Sorry, guys, once again. That day that I dropped that kettlebell in my hand, all I could think about was how much my finger hurt. I was trying to focus on prepping that day, and I could not. And it is 100% better. My fingernail is still black. But it's good. If you guys were like, has Caleb's finger fell off? Not yet. But we will see. Yes.
New.
Well, I was setting the door up across the street. I have a scrub. How to describe this? Have you guys been to a hockey game and seen a Zamboni?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have one of those that I use at the gym to clean the gym floor. It is like the best thing ever. Gets all the grime off. Anyways, I was shoving the door open with a kettlebell, and I had grabbed the 53-pound kettlebell, because it keeps the door open and it doesn't blow away in the wind. And I don't even know what I was doing. I just completely biffed it and dropped it on my finger. Oof indeed. And I looked down at it and I was like, yep, this is gonna hurt. Anyways, it was all good, all fine. Demonstrating movements this week has been interesting, but it's been good. Lex, how are you doing, man? Back from vacation now?
Yeah, and then off on business stuff. So this week is fine. Next Friday, unfortunately, I'm not going to be here. Flying out to Denver on business, and even I think the Friday after that, I'll still be in Denver, so that's a little bit of a toss-up.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, that will be cool, being in Colorado.
And I have some former colleagues from my Johnson & Johnson days who live over there, so I'll be catching up with them and stuff.
Well, that's awesome, man. I hope that you guys have a good time and that you're able to catch up and all that good stuff.
I've not been to Denver, so hopefully they'll be able to show me around. Won't get too high.
Absolutely.
Keyword, too high.
Too high. It's kind of crazy. I know we're kind of shooting the shit here. In Indiana, where I live, it is illegal 100% to have recreational marijuana, but there are 3 surrounding states where it is recreationally legal, including Illinois, which you can get to Illinois from where I live within an hour. And
there's probably so many people who take day trips across the border.
Absolutely. Commit federal crime every day, which has to be just mind-boggling for lawmakers. Anyways, Matthew is back. He's got his energy drink. We're ready to roll. It's been a while, so we need a recap roll into chat, folks. So if we want to roll for a D of inspiration, I see a 10 in the chat. I see a 5 in the chat. Going once, going twice.
I'll roll for
and we can. It was close. So we will sell that DM inspiration to Akia 13, played by Matthew. Matthew, please take it away.
All right. So I believe last time we started our session in combat with some gargoyles. Mm-hmm. We had just dropped down, literally running downstairs from the ground level to the first basement level of Grimskalle, the dungeon on the island that we're on, trying to find some way to end the winter of Icewind Dale that's been going on for 2 years. And the magic mirror told us that go to Grimskalle might be a way to solve it. So we're here. and we don't know exactly what the mirror was talking about, but there's apparently an artifact of great power, very, very related to Auril, and the bottom of this Grimskalle that is a book, a tome of great power related to Auril in some way. Possibly some spells in there, possibly some sort of ancient knowledge. We're not exactly sure. We could ask Professor Orb why he was here, get a better idea. But after defeating the gargoyles, we then went into the burial chamber of Queen Vasaviken, fighting past some undead frost giant guards. We asked for the queen's blessing and taking a mighty weapon, promising to slay the dragon with it that had killed many of her people. They basically lost a fight, and this was sort of their burial ground. And after getting that weapon, coming back out, we decided to start the 4 trials of Auril to get this book. And we randomly chose a door, and the first one was cruelty. And as we entered the door of the trial of cruelty, we were teleported, seemingly, across, maybe not too far across the world, because it's still freezing, into an encampment with what appears to be some people in bad shape, possibly starving, definitely cold. We don't know what these people are doing here yet, or where we are, but we have started the trial of cruelty.
That was an excellent recap. Please award yourself a Factspiration point. Or, excuse me, a DM Inspiration point.
All right.
And before we continue into the game, we got to earn some Factspiration. So we've got a Factspiration question today. What would come out of your character's pinata? Say you sell your likeness to a grocery store, and they have created a pinata. What did they stuff inside that pinata, and what is knocked out of it during a child's birthday party? So let us begin with Iris. Lotus, what would come out of your pinata?
All right. Well, I came up with 3 things. First would be canisters of Old Bay seasoning. And I mean like the old-fashioned ones, the ones actually made out of aluminum. Because, being a native Marylander, she was willing to put Old Bay on pretty much everything. Next would be, of course, since her love of baseball would be a bunch of baseballs. And to go along with her love of professional wrestling would be a bunch of sort of like small, toy-sized championship wrestling belts.
That sounds super cool and super original and would fit in with your character. So I want to award you a Factspiration point. Excellent. We have heard what is inside of Lotus's pinata. What is inside Alicia's pinata?
Alicia's pinata would consist of gold flakes, sunflowers, and sun candy.
And just for the people like me who don't know what sun candy is, what is sun candy?
They are mandarin oranges, the easy peel ones.
Oh, there we go. That makes sense. I missed the picture.
Play on
I
words.
love that. Well, those are delicious, and they are very easy to peel. Awesome. All right, Akia. Akia, what would be inside your piñata?
Akia would definitely workshop with the target audience and discover that there is supposed to be candy inside of piñatas, and if there's not candy, then the children will rebel against you, not wanting to upset them. Akia's piñata would have the least sticky candy possible, so it would be jawbreakers. They would just
Fair
have
enough.
just jawbreakers, just regular old jawbreakers.
I almost like threw up an arm of like what's it called? Reservation. Like, oh, those are no, they're not really that sticky. No, they're not. Well, Akia, please award yourself a Factspiration point, and we can return our game back to the scene. Now, one thing that you may notice as your characters look around, atop of each of your characters' heads is a spinning, glowing snowflake the size of a crown that is spinning softly and slowly in the winter wind.
I guess Lotus would look up and
Ominous.
Lotus would look up and say, "Did we just enter a game of The Sims?"
Oh wow.
The Sims.
I need to ask OOC. Are both of y'all okay with Akia being mean to your characters? I mean, I don't know what type of weeks y'all have had. So, I don't want to start nothing. If like, you're having a bad week, you don't really feel it.
No, it's
Are you okay?
It's all good here.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool. But I appreciate you asking.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys have these spinning and glowing snowflakes atop your heads.
Is there any way to identify what the F these are?
Absolutely. Alicia, as you look at this snowflake that's kind of spinning atop your head, you would almost immediately recognize it as the religious symbol of the Frostmaiden, Auril. So the religious symbol of Auril the Frostmaiden is essentially spinning atop your head.
And you said there's 3 of them each for us?
There's one each.
Oh, it's
atop
one
each character's head. About the size of a standard king issue crown.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. And we've been teleported to a. Have they all? And we sort of been teleported to a place where all these people can see us already, right?
This one little kid can see you, who has kind of ventured out of his hut.
Okay. And they're already holding their hand out at us, like,
This little kid sees you and he says, "Oh, hello. Who are you all? Are you blessed by the Frostmaiden? You bear a mark above your head. Are you blessed?"
Unsure. Where is this place?
Oh, this is just a village. The village held by our king, Gunvald Haragson, king of the Bear Tribe, true king.
And looking at these people, do Akia does not have any medical training, so not probably can't tell much. But are they look like they're starving or in some sort of imminent need, like they're about to die or something?
This child that you see in front of you, based on even just like a very cursory medical check from everyone, you notice is very thin, gaunt. The cheeks have drawn back. The eyes are beginning to recede into the head, as it is clear that the boy has been hungry for long.
Everyone, I think we're going to have a very difficult time with this challenge.
You're telling me.
But Kia just looks like they're thinking.
The sooner we get this done, the more we don't have to endure it. Child, can you tell us where this king is?
King? Yes, I could show you myself. He's that way. And they point, and I don't know if you guys can see my ping. He's at the
we're still
center
on
of
the-
the
We're
village.
not on the map.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're still on the landing
oops.
page.
Yeah.
Oops. I did it again. I played with your screen.
There we are. So where was it pointing?
So
Ali-
he points this way, and he says, "The king, he's at the center. The king, he made a decree earlier this day that he's found a solution for our hunger."
Take us, child.
Mm.
Okay.
Lotus, Alicia, be careful that you do not cause us to fail this challenge.
Well, I'm happy you've showed up. The king has said that the wisdom of Auril will come. He said he saw it in a dream. I don't see much in my dreams. All I see is the frozen wasteland that we live in now.
I might have an idea. I'm not sure how involved we should get, though.
So as you approach the scene, you see a large barbarian type man. He looks like this. You see he is stroking at his chin as he sees the 4 men that have been arranged in front of him, each of them on their knees, hands tied behind their back. He turns to the child, and as the child looks to him and says, "Oh, Lord Halraxon, these strangers have walked in from the cold. They all bear the mark of Lord Auril of the Frostmaiden." And Dunvald waves his hand, and the child runs away. And as the child says, "Good luck to you all," and the child runs, disappearing into the night.
Oh, what was his name again? Let me write that down.
The tribal leader,
Yeah.
I will put it into chat.
Thank you.
Gunvald will turn to you all and say, You all have the mark of the Frostmaiden on your heads. Have you come to help us in our time of need? The time when winter has left us the most vulnerable.
We're definitely here to do something. You'll notice Akia's eyes, which have glowed red before, normally blue are currently glowing black, and their face is covered with rime. Why are these men tied up?
Well, I am struggling with a decision. Our hunters have been failing and failing and failing. On their final hunt that they have went on, they even failed to return. Our camp grows hungry. Our camp grows tired, as there's no food left to consume. We have already eaten our sled dogs. We have already eaten our pack mules. We have already eaten what is left of our stores of wheat. We are all that is left. I have been counseled by our tribal shaman. It is time for us to begin to eat the old. These are the 4 oldest members of our tribe.
Well, it is true that Auril has sent us here.
You are
Perhaps.
emissaries of the Frostmaiden, he says to you.
Obviously.
Man.
If you'll excuse us, we will confer and come to a decision. Stay here. And I'll motion for the rest of the party to follow me. And I'll start walking this way, and I hope that they follow.
Yep, I'll follow along.
Well, we could simply do nothing. Or we could try to be cruel, as the name of the trial would suggest.
Gaiman would look to you, and I'm doing my best to assume how Gaiman would respond here and say, "Now, Akia, you can't honestly believe that we're gonna let these lot eat those old fuckers, can you?"
I've never really considered it my problem when people kill other people. People in Tin Towns have been killing each other for years now. I've never tried to stop it. It was never my place. This is more of the same. Ritual sacrifice.
They were killing, but they were not eating each other. Cannibalism is crossing a very, very distinct line. And hard times, yes, have fallen onto Icewind Dale, but it had never gotten that far.
Well, I hate to say it, but I can think of a few things that we could do that would be particularly cruel.
Yeah, you can't be thinking what I think you're thinking, are you? Can't even say.
Well, I think that the trial is to increase their suffering.
So, are you saying that we should make them more hungry, or what are you saying?
Well, after seeing the situation, we could do something along the lines of make them do something horrible for food. Something like we could give them rations and food that I can make in exchange for, I don't know, they have to burn their shelters, or they have to or we can make their leader fight Gaiman for food, a fight that he couldn't possibly win.
No, I don't think you would.
And that extra hope, and then dashing it, they wouldn't be any worse off physically, but it would certainly be cruel to get their hopes up.
You're right about that, mate.
I'd say that's the way we could be the cruelest without doing any, well, I was about to say without doing any real damage, but I mean without changing their physical situation.
Alicia and Lotus, what do you think?
Well, here's my thing about this, all these trials and whatnot. And she'll lean forward just to, make sure that only us can hear it. Like, do we really need this book?
It might be the entire reason that we're here. If this
is anyone holding the Professor Orb?
Alicia is.
Oh, would you guys like to hear more about the Codicil of White?
Sure, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you have information on it, then please share.
The Codicil of White is an ancient tome, scribbled and written in by the followers of Auril for hundreds of years, even thousands. Ancient rituals and spells held within were the goal, the mission of my former mistress before she met her untimely end, freezing to death. Also held within are potentially the methods, the reasons, the possible abilities on how to end this never-ending winter.
Seems very likely that that book is why the mirror sent us here when Alicia asked it how we stop the winter.
Well, the
As we all
possibility
know,
is
knowledge and power. Oh, the professor was just going to say knowledge and power.
if that book contains what is necessary to end this, then I believe being here was the right decision.
Oh, yes, but is that good for it? Do you really feel that the ends justify the means?
Lotus, you would sacrifice all of 10 towns to be nice to this group. And Akia looks at you with those black glowing eyes.
Yeah. You're not. I don't mean this as an insult, but you're not like us. You're not thinking. You're thinking like logically. You're thinking through calculations. You're thinking like here, and that's what you do. But that's not how you can solve every situation.
And you can't solve every situation by being weak.
Oh. 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 Sorry, that hurt me.
If you don't have the stomach for this, maybe you should just stay out of it, Lotus.
You breath, say, here, do not mistake my kindness for weakness. What I'm saying is that if doing cruel things to these people is what gets us this book, then I think we should find another way.
Maybe you should find another way. Maybe I should get the book.
Gaiman will put a hand on your shoulder, Akia, and say, Akia, that was kind of a lot, mate. You know, we're all in this together, just like from the start. And let's just take a second, breathe. Before we say anything, we can't just take back.
We've come a long way to give up. Go back to where we started if we give up on these trials.
Well, maybe the crazy bastard over there has some idea, and we can ask him what exactly he wants us to do before we go jump into conclusions.
Is Gaiman referring to Gunvold?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. But let's keep in mind what this trial is. All right. I guess we're done talking. I guess we go back to Gunvold.
Gunvold will look to you all and say, "Oh, great emissaries of Auril. I'm glad to see you have returned, and maybe you can hear my request." As emissaries of the great Frostmaiden. He kneels and he holds his axe up. You will lay the killing blow upon these elderly so that they may feed my tribe and keep us alive until we can find a suitable hunt.
Akia will turn to where he saw that child run off And Akia just thinks to themselves, am I gonna really feed that child their own parents? And Matthew's going to remember that episode of South Park.
Oh, the chili, Scott, yum.
I think Lotus will just sort of look back and forth between Gunvald and the older folks here. And then she'll approach him and say, if I may, Your Majesty, you said it was your shaman who had suggested this, yes?
Yes.
Oh, Matthew has her hand raised.
I think you can finish saying what you're saying. I'll just jump in after that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you see, where I am from, in times of hardship, it is the leader themselves that should take responsibility for such hardship. And if I may be so bold to suggest, instead of sacrificing these wise elders here, perhaps the leader should sacrifice himself.
I see. I had not thought of that conclusion. I was just going off of what my advisor had told me. So you think that the people should feast upon me instead?
Yes, and while I admit I'm not familiar with how the line of succession works here, if you do not have a proper heir, if you feel this advisor is wise enough to do so, then perhaps they should take your place.
Can you give me a persuasion check?
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and burn my remaining DM inspiration on this.
Should they just eat me?
27.
He looks to you and he says, oh, maybe you're right. Maybe if they eat upon my flesh, the people will survive longer and make it through this harsh winter.
Before we jump to that conclusion, this
For
shaman of yours, where is he?
Oh. I will summon him, and he will come as quickly as he can.
Hey, Orf, can we go to secret chat for just a second?
Sure. I will be right back, everyone.
I'll say this, if you've got any ideas, I'm more than happy to hear them. This was just like the first thing that came to me.
Working.
And yeah, Matthew, that is my recipe for peanut butter and jelly.
All right, I got it. Have to try that one.
Yeah, it's weird when you if you put the peanut butter on both sides of bread, but the bread is inside out. That's the key. right, guys. So tell me, what do you want to do?
I believe that guy was on his way over, the advisor.
Oh, yes. Give me 1 second, and I will bring him. The king will ask you all as the advisor is being summoned. You are emissaries of Auril. Do you know how long this winter will last? What does the Frostmaiden need of us to end it?
Probably forever.
That is a horrifying conclusion. And you see Gunvold become very sad at this realization that the winter has come and it will never go. He looks once again to Alicia and sees that Alicia is praying, and he says, "And do you pray to the Frostmaiden now?"
No, I am not a follower of the Frostmaiden.
He gives a big, like surprised reaction. What? But her symbol, it floats above your head.
Yes, that is a circumstance of the situation, but I do not worship her.
Oh.
Nor do I have any intention to.
You see that he is very confused. He almost let out a nani, but he did not.
Akia watches Alicia's frost crown to see if it starts flickering.
It is still there.
Hmm. Well,
you guys hear a tent flap open as the shaman walks out. And he says, "Emissaries of Auril, I am happy that you have come to realize that we are in danger and that we need Lady Frostkiss's help, her assistance in surviving this winter."
Tell me, how did you arrive at this conclusion?
We made sacrifice after sacrifice to the Frostmaiden to come to our aid. And now you are here. We see her symbol floating above your head. Surely you have come to help us.
Again, how did you come to that conclusion? Has Lady Frostkiss been known to show mercy or aid?
The shaman will make a quick check on this. I do believe she does quite often. Yes, I believe she is a goddess of mercy. And she shows mercy to those that show her reverence.
I would say hearing that, like, she's not even she's trying to hide it, but you see Lois has like her hand over her mouth and she's actively holding back her own laughter at that.
cute, but no.
Hmm.
Stories of Lady Frostkiss is that she is as cold as the deepest frost. She does not show mercy, just as the frost does not show mercy to those who are lost within it.
I see. Well, we are at a so-called impasse. Our village is hungry. We will not survive if we do not eat, as I'm sure the king has told you. I have foreseen that the one way we are to survive is to eat of the flesh of these old, so that the young can survive through the winter.
Yes, your king has told us, but I have presented an alternative.
And what is that?
I'll turn to the king and say, would you like to tell him, or shall I?
The king will say, well, the representative of Auril has recommended that the villagers should eat me instead. And the shaman blinks his eyes quite hurriedly at this response. He says, but king, the line, you are a true king of the Uthgard. Without you, the village will be utterless and without leadership.
The greater the sacrifice, the greater the blessing, right?
The shaman looks to you all. And Akia, please make a persuasion check on the shaman.
Akia says it's exactly like they did.
He will say, King, this makes no sense. These 4 men are soon to die, to be buried. You are young and strong, virile, able to sire many heirs. You will be able to lead this tribe into the future, if you can but survive and the village survive.
Should you really be concerned with having more children right now when you can't provide for your tribe as it is? In fact, probably be most merciful if you all just died right now.
As Akia says that, the king actually looks at Akia and he says, wait, what? And he stands up off of the logs. Me sacrificing my life to save my village is one thing. But you proselytizing the genocide of my people for us all to die? I don't like that.
I'm just stating the obvious.
The king looks real angrily at Akia.
You have chosen to live in a desolate, frozen wasteland. And this is what happens. You suffer.
Gunvold will say, point his axe to you all and say, well, tell us your final decision. Do we slaughter these old... Or he says it this way. Will you slaughter these old for me, emissaries of the Frostmaiden? Or will you do nothing?
I will not be so kind as to do your dirty work for you. So, OOC. If we want to be cruel, we can still make them fight gaming for food. No takers. Nobody wants to do that.
Gavin doesn't look like he's into that. He's like, oh, that's kind of gross, Akia.
Oh, okay.
I do think that Lewis would look to the advisor and say, like, let me ask you this. Does the king currently have an heir?
Currently, the king does not have an heir to take the throne.
Well, along with my suggestion that the king give himself, since you seem to be his most trusted advisor, I suggested that you be named his successor. She says that as a way of trying to see if maybe he might change his tune at that.
To see if who will change their tune, the shaman?
The shaman, yeah.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
The shaman looks to you and says, I'm a member of the Circle of the Land, a druid. I help serve this tribe because they serve the land itself. I have no ambition to rule this tribe.
Otis does seem pleasantly surprised at this.
Right, you guys all feel like you're at a decision point here.
I don't know, guys. I don't think we're being cruel enough. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, do you do as the king asks? Do you do nothing? Do you just frickin' off this guy right here where he stands and make his people eat him? What do you guys do?
I will not participate in this act, for it is nothing more than just a stop measure. With your death and consumption, your people will be barely satisfied before they go hungry again. And then the cycle repeats until they keep offing more and more people until there is no one left. But that is a cycle I will have no part in. I wish you luck, but, well. And we'll look at the shaman. Maybe the Frostmaiden will show you mercy after all.
So I'll turn and go with Alicia.
Gaiman will follow after you both and say, damn right. Alright, what does Akia do in this situation?
So, trying to figure out, because I don't want to fail this challenge, but, I don't know. Just like, thinking, like, what is the challenge? Is the challenge to see if we'll kill these people, or not provide food? Because we could just provide food. Like, that's an option.
I mean, that's easily done.
Right. So is that enough? Is that enough to pass the challenge? I don't know. Do we have to kill these people to pass the challenge? I don't know. It's weird.
I don't want to rewind time too much, but when we were back here originally, kind of thinking about what was going on, is there a way to maybe recall knowledge I'm playing too much fucking Pathfinder on Auril and her faith, to see if there's anything within their tenets that talks about cruelty,
Absolutely, you can do like a recall knowledge on that. And that would be a religion check.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
I was gonna say, if it was history, I could.
Ooh.
I am also
I will burn
check mark.
I'll burn a team inspiration to re-roll that sucker. Ooh.
Okay, a 12 is good enough to know this, because, the religion of Auril has become widespread throughout Icewind Dale. One of Auril's tenets is compassion makes you vulnerable. Let cruelty be the knife that keeps your enemies at bay.
Mhm. Okay. Then Alicia would have shared that with the party when we were kind of discussing and talking earlier. So everyone knows that. Oh, see, Alicia is taking the stance of if cruelty has to be done here, one of the options is to do nothing and let them suffer their own fate. If they want to start killing each other and consuming each other cannibalism style, eventually there will be no one left. And, well, they made their choice.
Yep, it's pretty cruel. I would say doing nothing is extremely cruel. There's ways to add on to that suffering, but I mean,
there's
it's
definitely
already pretty
ways.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely ways it could be made worse, but
I mean, yeah, and I definitely think that doing the sacrifice for them would definitely be too nice, because then it's like, oh, it's out of our hands. The people of Auril did it.
oh, these weird adventurers with Auril's blessing, the ones who did it.
Yeah, it wasn't the leader of the tribe that failed and had to sacrifice their own people, So I think that would be being nice, but
what's everyone's passive insight in this party?
mine's terrible. Mine is I've got a 0 modifier.
Same here, so it's just the base 10.
And I also play that if I'm inciting a person, that I have disadvantage.
Okay, never mind. You guys don't notice anything.
Mm-hmm.
What about Gaiman? What's his passive insight?
Gaiman's insight is a flat 10.
Also a flat 10. Okay, never mind. The party knows nothing.
Wow, we've all got 0 wisdom. That's amazing.
All right. Yeah. Alicia has chosen to walk away and let them suffer their own fate. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Lotus said what she said, and that's what she believes, and she's not going to do anything more. She says she's just sort of here because it's like she's just sort of grumbling under her breath about how, like, this is the one time that there's an advisor that isn't eager to take the throne. Like, why does this have to be the one time?
Oh, I don't have create food and water prepared. I was thinking I could make 30 pounds of gruel and put out their bonfire with it.
Put out their bonfire?
Yeah, with the 30 pounds of gruel.
Just snuff out their fire with gruel.
Yeah, so then it's just mixed up all in the ashes, and if they want to eat it, they have to eat ash gruel.
Damn.
Yeah, we gotta pass the thing.
It does say to be cruel in the thing. It does say that.
All right. But basically, Yeah, like, no. This is your fault. You failed as a leader. We're not going to sacrifice the people for them. You got to do it so that every time they look at you, they remember your failure. Goodbye.
All right. So Akia walks away. The king says, "You want something done right," and you hear a dull thud as an axe blade hits human flesh. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Boom, boom, boom. You guys can smell irony blood in the air. As this happens, you are all covered with blue, frosty wind. And one by one, you feel yourselves picked up into the air. And as you walked through a door, something has happened. You make your way back through the door that you just came out of. Give me 1 second, guys. My image didn't load. You guys see the background image of the map?
I mean, we're on the map,
No.
but I don't know about the background image.
Okay, well that's very odd. Let me do a thing.
Yeah, I concur. We are on a map.
Yeah, we're back in the chamber map.
Yes, very much map. Very well.
Okay, sorry. When I went to load it, there was nothing on the background. So as you guys make your way back through, you see your allies are all conversing with the gigantic walrus. You see that Watto and them all are taking turns as Akuma is racing across the ice rink that is this floor. As you all walk out, you notice the snowflake that was floating above your heads is still there. There are almost like 4 distinct corners to the snowflake. All of your snowflakes are on that distinct corner are glowing. 3 of the corners are unglowing.
Looks like progress. And you'll see that Akia's eyes are no longer glowing black, and they'll say, "I apologize for what I said when I was doing a trial."
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. My thought was always that the advisor was always gunning for the throne.
I guess it
Hello,
depends on the
everyone.
person.
Were we gone long?
No, it didn't seem like you were gone for very long at all, Akuma says out loud, the walrus. Kind of jutting into the conversation.
Interesting. It seemed very real, but it is as if no time passed. It is possible that we are in some sort of altered reality.
Everyone make an active perception check.
I was also gonna ask. They mentioned the Bear Tribe. Have we heard of that in Icewind Dale?
Getting all those nat ones out of the way today.
Yes, you guys dealt with an offshoot of the Bear Tribe before, when you dealt with those barbarians with the help of the reindeer. So that was an offshoot of the Bear Tribe. you also know that the Uthgard barbarians each have an animal totem that they follow, and one of those animal totems is the bear tribe.
Okay.
Wata will ask you all, what did you see and where did you go?
Well, we were taken to a tribe, and they seemed to be in a bad way. So much so that the king of the tribe was considering, and her face will go pale and she'll gulp loudly and say, consuming their elderly.
Ooh, that's bad, Lotus. What did you all do to? Did you do anything to stop it, or what happened?
Well, I tried to convince the king that he should take responsibility for the hardship and offer up himself.
Your solution was instead of eating people, to eat other people?
Look, darling, I admit that it probably wasn't my best moment. I came up with the best thing I could for the situation.
All right. He looks confused.
Well,
However,
we know that the trial had to deal with cruelty, so there's limited options of what we could do.
We should continue.
I mean, she's like, well, can we stay here for just a minute? And she'll just hug Watto. It's like, Watto, keep me warm. It's cold.
Horse. And he'll pull you in. Did the trial force you all to do anything? Waddle will ask aloud.
Not yet. Not really.
Not yet.
Yes. In the end, we did nothing and left them to their fate, which I guess could be argued was probably the cruelest thing we could have done.
I could think of some worse.
And I'm glad that you didn't have to do anything worse. Watto say.
Danica, could you follow me?
Yes, Alicia, of course. And Danica will follow you.
Don't be gone too long. There might be a time limit.
And Danica will follow Alicia.
Essentially, they go into this kind of back corner away from everyone else, and they start crying.
Alicia, no. What is wrong? What happened out there?
Pretty much says that, from the trial, everything that had happened, every fiber of her being wanted to help those people, but to look at the bigger picture, the sun needs to return, and if getting this codicil is what is needed, then Alicia says that they will have to button themselves up and endure it. But realizing that they've kind of become the emotional center for this group, they don't want them to be breaking down and crying in front of them for the party. So they came out here to the side. So they'll bring Danica in and just kind of hold them for a few moments.
My dear. What will we have to do to save this world? What will we have to do to end this winter?
a lot. Our teachings tell us that not just light can mean many things. It can be salvation, it can be warmth, but it can also be hope and joy, and that's I've tried and I want to continue trying. But I guess I'm gonna have to steel myself in order to keep pushing forward. I'm sorry, I didn't want to. And just kind of wipes her eyes.
You don't need to worry about putting any type of shield between you and I. We've been through too much together. Leisha. The sun and the moon are forever intertwined. I will always remember that. I hope that you will remember that as well.
Alicia will nod, give a weak smile. We'll bring her in for a kiss. And then wipe her eyes again. Alright. Guess there's more trials.
Yes. And Danica will follow you out.
While they were gone, Kia would have gone to Gaiman and been like, once this is all over, we'll need to, if you don't mind, discuss the ethical and moral implications of cannibalism.
Mate, I think we kind of know which way that conversation should go, don't we? It ain't right to eat people.
That seems very inefficient. Like if they were already dead. And you were starving.
He looks at you. Are you daft? What do you want about?
Like, if you were starving, and you had the ability to eat me for sustenance, and I died, I would want you to eat my body and survive. If I was an apple, I would want you to eat me if you were starving.
Well, mate, you ain't an apple. You're a person. And think of it this way. You just don't come back from doing something like that. If I ate you to survive, what do you think's gonna happen to my psyche after I do it? I'll never be the same. I won't be the same gaming no more, that's for sure. I'd be something else. A beast. An animal.
I see. Do you think that would also What was that?
I accidentally touched my phone and it made a noise.
Oh. Do you think that would also extend to, like, using a friend's body to, say, create clothing? If you had no clothing, but you could make clothing out of my body when I died, would that have moral and ethical implications of the same way as cannibalism?
He looks in you and says, what's going on in your head, Kia? This feels like something's gone loose. You've never had these type of questions for us before. Is it just the situation? Or what's causing this to come up?
Well, just cannibalism's never come up in question before. And I just suppose that I was thinking, if I were to die, I would find it very wasteful for my body to just be buried.
Look, yeah, I can tell you this.
It
Goliaths
seems
don't eat each other or skin each other to turn each other into coats.
But being alone in the ground seems so lonely.
Yeah, but you're not alone when you're being put into the ground. Your body becomes a part of the ground. Your
But-
body becomes the ground itself. And he points to your heart. This joins with your family, with your community, with the people who have served in this life before.
But my body would not. My body would stay in the ground for millennia. Alone. Doing nothing. Accomplishing nothing. Becoming nothing. It seems very sad.
Well, Akia, tell me, what would you want us to do if you... This could be sort of a time for us to write your will.
I am not certain. But I don't know. I think I'll need time to consider that.
Well, take your time. Akia, I don't think you're going to be dying anytime soon. Not well, Gaiman's about your back. Oh no, did we just totally like death? What's the word in like fiction?
Death flag?
Yeah.
Y'all just raising death flags left and right.
I think only thing we're missing is one of them saying that they've only got 2 days left till retirement.
Mm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All
right.
I
Well,
don't know
I'd say
what... Good.
I think probably just real quick during this, since Lotus has tried to give up smoking instead of here, she decided to take up writing poetry again. So she says like, she's like, all right, Watto, I want you to hold on to this. Just not sure what's behind those other doors, but just in case anything happens, I wrote this.
Okay, I'm ready to listen.
And she'll tear out the page, hand it over to him, and then it reads off, "Show me the champion of light. I'll show you the herald of darkness. Lost in the never-ending night, diving deep to the surface."
He says, whoa, that's pretty intense. But I think it is a beautiful choice of words, Lotus.
It's from a song I remember, and I think it seems pretty apropos to our situation, showing that there's lightness and darkness in all of us, and sometimes you need to dive deeper into that darkness before you can find the light.
Poetry is very confusing.
Watto agrees, and your dungeon master agrees. Out of character.
Before we begin the next trial, is there any order that you all would prefer? It seems that we might have a choice of doing a particular trial next. They do seem to be labeled. We still have isolation, endurance, and preservation. Also, if only one of us needs to pass all the trials, I volunteer for isolation.
Well, I don't know. We should at least see what the trial has to offer before coming to that decision. So I guess as we
Oh.
approach this door, what does this one read?
I think it was on the inside. I think like you had to open the door and then the next door had the word on it.
That is correct.
Ah,
Well, I figure we may as well just pick one and go. We're gonna have to end up doing them all anyway.
How's everyone doing physically?
holding it
Oh,
together.
A little cold, but otherwise, all right.
Okay, as you guys make your way to this door, part of the lintel has been broken off of this door. However, you can still make out the word endurance carved into it in common.
Seems like as good of a option as any of the others. I'd say we've already endured a very long day. What's a little more? Just looks at everybody, make sure everybody's in agreement before they turn the door handle. Everyone ready?
Mm-hmm.
I will turn the door handle and see if the door will open.
It opens, revealing a black inkiness in front of you. You all travel into the black inkiness.
You bet we do.
Into the
Okay.
void.
In a very similar fashion, your surroundings vanish in a flurry of snow and ice. When your vision clears, you find yourselves in a raging snowstorm, standing at the edge of a tribal camp in the process of being dismantled. You see that the nomads are working feverishly to knock down their snowy homes and pack whatever they can onto their dog sleds. A few of them spot you and begin to brandish weapons. A figure among them calls out to you, "We shall not lay down and die for your pleasure, emissaries of Auril. Begone, vultures," they say aloud. And let me drop that character out onto the map. They step out into the light of the fire.
Where are they?
Oh, they are in the light of the fire. They are right here. Sorry, my pointer did not work.
It's the fish.
Next to the fish.
Well, we're not your regular emissaries of Auril. That's for certain.
And once again, you guys have those kind of gigantic snowflakes floating above this head. Then why are you here at our camp? Gerard walks closer, brandishing his great spear.
Before we start doing something that we all may regret, let's at least try and figure out what's going on. Who are you people?
I am King Gerond Elkhard, Lord of the Elk Tribe. You are at our home. I have just given the order to tear our home down. The Reindeer Tribe is migrating eastward. Where go the reindeer, so goes the elk.
Okay. Have you
Well,
been visited by other emissaries of Auril with these symbols above their heads?
We have been visited by vultures, by evil druids, by evil Christmas critters.
Oh, I guess we can both agree those Christmas critters are assholes.
Yeah, the ones with the glowing red eyes,
Yes,
like her belt and his cloak.
yes, and yes.
Yes. We are emissaries of Auril in a sense, but very different than the ones you are used to. What did the other emissaries want from you?
They wanted to get in our way, to confound and confuse us. And in the case of those evil critters, consume us.
Well, we're not here to consume you, so we'll put that off to the side. Sorry. Lex is trying to remember. What was the name of this trial as we entered through the hallway?
Endurance.
Endurance. Okay.
We should confer with Dr. Orb in our history and religion checks to try to figure out why we're here.
That was my next thing. Bring out Professor Scant.
Hello! It is I, Professor Scant.
Hey, Professor Scant, can you help us figure out why we're here?
Well, I do believe you are all trying to pass the trials of Auril, the Frostmaiden.
Yes, this is the trial of endurance.
Yes.
Anyone...
I mean,
Are we supposed to endure? Or are
I mean,
they supposed to endure?
first thing that comes to my mind is for them to endure.
Are we supposed to travel with them?
Well, they're packing up their camp. And
Surely a migration is a trial of endurance in this environment.
true.
But it sounds like the other emissaries tried to stop them.
So maybe we do the opposite of that and go along with them.
How is stopping them a trial of endurance?
Lotus will sort of go up to Yukia. It's like, well, my guess is that the endurance would be a fight.
I mean, the word endurance implies something long and drawn out. Fights are over within a matter of seconds or minutes.
The king will call out to you. Emissaries of Auril.
Yes, sorry, we're actually just a little bit confused as to why we're here, and we're trying to figure it out.
Well, if you're here, you might as well make yourselves useful. Either help us with our march, or leave.
I mean, endurance, the only thing I can think of is we migrate with them. Surely one of the teachings of Auril is to brave the elements and endure in the frozen environment.
I guess same as before. Can I verify that with a check of some kind?
Absolutely. You can make another religion check to see if you know of any tenets of Auril that might deal with this.
Alrighty. Well, it's better than a 2.
Absolutely. One of the tenets of Auril is exist as long as you can, by whatever means you can. Only by enduring can you outlast your enemies.
I'll repeat that to everyone else.
I mean,
So yeah, I think you're on the nose, Akia.
it seems like we're supposed to travel and endure this migration like a migrating herd of reindeer.
Well, I'll carry what I can, but I'm not that strong.
I suppose we will help you migrate. It doesn't seem to be anything else for us to do. I believe that's our only choice.
The king will say, fine. And we have a quick montage of everyone, packing up tents, putting stakes, or pulling stakes out of the ground, lashing dogs to dog sleds, all of that type of thing. Just one by one, just getting work done before it is time for the march to begin. And they are finished packing their stuff up within about 20 minutes. And the king will walk to you, emissaries of Auril, the party. And he will ask, are you all ready?
I believe so. Everyone?
As ready as I'm ever going to be.
And the march begins. Go ahead.
Oh, just sometime while we're all packing up, Akia will talk to the party in private and just be like, it is very convenient that we are to arrive right as they are packing up. And we are arriving back seemingly the same time that we leave. I do believe these trials have an element of time manipulation. Possibly we are out of time with Grimskalle and that reality. Perhaps this is all an illusion that takes place in our mind or some other way, but it's quite possible that it is not even the same time of year here and now as it is back where we came from. I don't think that affects us in any particular way, but I just find that interesting.
I mean, that is possible. We'll just have to continue observing and see if there's anything that sticks out, but there's not a whole lot of information to go off of.
Can I make a nature check? Akian knows what day it is, and I would like to perform a nature check to see if the date lines up with the reindeer migrations.
Sure. This would be... trying to think. Yeah, this would be a nature check. Please give us a nature check to see if this would be something you would know.
We have been rolling very poorly tonight.
Okay, I mean, it very well could. It could not. Just based on what I know of Akia's background and what Akia likes to do in his free time, I don't know if studying reindeer migration is at the top of his list.
Apparently not. Man, I just spent too much time studying caribou migrations, not enough time studying reindeer migrations.
They're quite different.
Similar shaped creatures, but different.
Same, but different. Okay, you guys can begin your march if you are ready with the elk tribe.
Yep. Good as time as
I'm
any,
just gonna-
I guess.
I'm just gonna walk up to a random person and be like, "Hey, I know this is a weird question, but do you know what the date is, or even what month it is?"
So you approach logarithmic elk tribesman, and he looks to you and he says, "Oh, a servant of Auril." Ooh. And he runs away to the other elk tribesman.
All right. That was rude.
Your guys' march goes on for about 8 hours as you are trudging through the snow. As you are trudging through the snow, you guys notice something quite quickly. The snow that is falling on you turns off your magic. As you are moving through it, you feel the magic items that you have begin to quiet, as if they are entering a sleep. The magic that you pull from your very blood whimpers and slumbers. Those of you who have magic that resists and inures you to the cold numbs as the snow beats against your flesh and your armor.
Son of a bitch.
This is how you say an anti-magic blizzard.
Well, Lotus is naturally resistant to the colds, but I imagine she starts noticing this stuff, so she'll tap the side of the Flavy mask and just start saying, like, Flavy, you there?
And there's no response.
And then I guess as she does that, all of a sudden it's like, it doesn't happen all at once, but I guess gradually, it's like the scales just start turning dark and the scars start showing up again, and then all of a sudden she looks down at her hands and sees everything. Her voice gets raspy again. She's just like, oh, fuck.
Gaiman says, "Oi, I think something may be amiss," as you see that his magical weapons all just look like a Just a normal golf bag full of weapons.
Akia will go up to Lotus and say words of encouragement.
Oh,
Thanks, Akia.
Literally, that's what they say. Words of encouragement.
Oh. Oh, okay, then I'd say she says it with a bit of sarcasm in her voice, like, thanks, Akia. Not sure if you really understand the sarcasm.
What?
okay.
So Akia just says what, and then when you don't respond, they'll just be like, okay, and then they'll just keep trudging on.
So our magic items seem to now no longer be working. That includes like the lantern of. Well, I don't think the lantern of tracking gives warmth or anything.
Correct. Now, as this is happening at the end of the 10th hour of marching, can everyone give? Or excuse me, this is at the end of the 9th hour. Can I have a DC? Well, you know what? Let's just make it fun. Can I have a Constitution saving throw from everyone? And I will roll for Gaiman.
On save.
All right, everyone is fine. You guys were feeling like, oh gosh, this is getting very challenging to continue this march, but we are able to maintain, we are able to continue. As the march continues from the 9th hour to the 10th hour, the elk tribesmen, you can see some of them are not doing so hot as you march across the snowy tundra, dragging the entirety of their livelihood with sleds or mushing dogs forward to drag themselves forward. During this 10th hour, do any of the party members say or do anything for the tribe, or do you continue in silence?
I guess, like, Lotus would be sticking with the party, but she's sort of, like, looking over at the others and wondering, like, I guess sort of looking at the corner of her eye, she'll probably just go up to Alicia and be like, I don't know, it's like, is that one staring at me?
So, say what?
Oh, look. You know, like, Flavy's not working, so I'm like this now, and, like, I don't know, I think that one dude's staring at me.
Don't pay them any mind. It should be fine. Have you always had that thing on since you got it?
Well, most of the time, because it's how I keep myself from looking like this. But it's also how I'm able to do a lot of the stuff with my magic. You know, it's my, what do you call that? A arcane focus.
The reason I ask is because Or I guess I'll say, don't let the mask cover you up all the time.
Oh, well, I don't. I mean, you could just ask Watto about that.
I'm saying with that, not in the privacy of your comforts. Maybe once in a while it would be fun for you to step out of that. Only if you're willing.
Okay, well, I'll be honest, it's also why I kind of want to see that, Avarice, of the Arcane Brotherhood, because, hoping that, she can make it so I don't have to.
The reason I brought it up was because while it is very convenient, maybe don't try to depend on it all the time. In the case of, and this kind of motions to this situation happens.
Well, I guess you are right. Spent several years back on Earth without something like this. How, you know, what's really interesting, right? Before any of this happened, I didn't even know magic existed. Back on Earth, magic is like literal tricks. We have the phrase it goes smoke and mirrors, as in magicians would use just tricks and illusions to make people think they could do magic.
That still happens here. Maybe not to the same extent. There are, still entertainers that use magic, but I think I understand what you're talking about.
Have you ever seen someone pull a rabbit out of a hat before?
I've seen people summon quite a few things before. Some things I wish I hadn't seen. But yes, I've seen something like that.
Well, I guess if I can lighten the mood a little bit, if you'll pardon the pun, maybe I could tell you this story from my world of a man who fought a dark force to save the one he loved. An author, actually.
Oh?
Yes, goes by the name Alan Wake. And then she'll spend the next several hours just reciting the entire plot of Alan Wake to you.
Alicia is fascinated that this human modern man was able to use light to literally fight back the demons of the darkness.
Also helps if you have a few powerful firearms along with you.
Right. But still, the light is what weakened them, and then the firearms could be used.
Yes.
Fascinating.
It sounds like this is the perfect time at the end of the 10th hour to give me another Constitution saving throw. The DC is just a bit higher as you've marched on further. Yeah, your save
I might need to.
would not pass.
I think I might need to use a Faxpiration. May I throw a Faxpiration on there?
Yes, you can.
14.
A 14 passes. Okay, so that is the end of the 10th hour. Here, during the 11th hour of the journey, do you get up to anything with any of the tribal leaders or your party?
No, Akia's pretty quiet during the march. They're probably getting lost in their own head as they travel in the darkness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
They
everyone
do listen to Lotus's story, though.
about Alan Wake.
Mm.
What do we need to do to bring Alan Wake here? Maybe he could help us in this winter.
Well, we need to find a way to fish him out from, and she'll lower her voice and say, the dark place.
This is the Professor Orb talking, by the way. I would love to know what the dark place is so I can add it to the annals of my knowledge.
Well, it depends. Well, there's several fan theories about that. One that I've heard is that it's meant to be a reference to Norse mythology, referring to the roots of the world tree.
Ah, I see. Your world has several stories and mythologies that I could learn from. Excellent. I will be now needing to know all about those to add to my annals. And the Professor Orb will try to probe Lotus' mind for all of the information it can gather about Norths and any other mythologies that...
She's definitely not an expert, but she'll share what she can.
Excellent. Cool. So that was the end of that was our second save. So now this is going to be the end of the 11th hour of travel. I'll let you guys all know there's 14 hours of challenge. All right, and so far, everyone is good. We can push forward. So that was hour 11. Let's do hour 12 here as you guys are traveling. Gaiman is just rocking these out. Okay.
I don't think it's gonna help me. Damn. All right.
So let's see here. So that was
Gonna
3,
burn.
4. So the DC here is going to be a 14.
Yeah, D8 barely.
I would like to use an inspiration to reroll.
Same here.
Please do.
There you go. That's the second nat 20 I've done on this challenge.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's see.
So I had a 6, but now it's a 22.
That's 22. And Akia has also passed. All right, and we have, I think, one more travel check to make here. So Gaiman will make his final saving throw. And Gaiman just crushes it. So I'll need one final saving throw from everyone as you guys are traveling through the wilderness.
Let me go ahead and burn my expiration on that.
Same here.
Absolutely.
13.
Oh,
Okay, so Alicia passes, but barely. Lotus, you are essentially 2 away from passing at this moment. So it looks like Lotus may be the only one from the challenge. You end with 1 point Lotus, of exhaustion. As the winter winds and the wilderness catch up to you. As the final hour of the challenge ends, King Jarond holds their arm up. And he says, "We're here. Start setting up camp, everyone. Strangers," he says to the party. "Thank you for accompanying us in the challenge of this march. Something about your presence here speaks to safety."
Like our companion Akia said earlier, we are emissaries of the Frostmaiden, but not the same kind that you've met in the past.
Fair enough.
I guess that was an endurance. We wish you luck on your new camp.
Thank you. If we pass each other again in the wilderness, I will think of this as a kindness that you have showed us, and I will repay that kindness.
Let's give him a nod. And then just looks around. I'm not exactly sure how this whole thing works of us going back.
As you basically state that, you're like, when and how do we go? And you guys are all
John
basically
Travolta meme.
shunted exactly up into the air, pulled up by the very forces of nature, and you feel yourselves back in Grimskalle, as if the door had just barely closed.
Been awake for so long.
Matt talking, or is that Akia?
That's Akia. This has been the longest day ever.
Yes, because it's...
That was, what, 14 hours of walking? As well as when we first got to this island?
Yeah, it's been all just one day. We packed like 22 hours into this day so far. No, 23 hours into this day so far, or something like that.
Yeah, you guys are all beginning to really feel the effects here, as Lotus is coming in maybe slightly.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
More-
Lotus especially, it's like, even though like now that you're back like here, I would assume our magic items are back to working again.
Yes, the second that you have made your way through the threshold, they all like turn back on, like, and Blade even reaches out to you and says, Mistress Lotus, something was interfering with my operating systems.
Yes, we were in a bad storm. Just please don't bother me right now. I'm just feeling kind of tired. And she'll walk over, and you'll notice that she was like sort of like lagging behind one, and then she'll saunter over to Watto, and then just sort of like lay her head on top of his, just like,
And Watto will say, "It only feels like you have been gone for minutes, but you're frozen to the bone."
Yeah, we had to help some nomad tribe with their stuff.
Did you say minutes?
Yes, it only feels like you've been gone for, what, 5 minutes, maybe?
Interesting. So I think you may be right, Akia. Yeah, because that trial, we just walked for 14 hours in the tundra.
But to us, it's only been maybe 10 minutes of this insanity.
Well, we'll see you in a minute.
As you say that, Akia, I'm going to need you guys to make a check, because you guys have been kind of up for 22 hours at this point, against exhaustion, to see if you all just basically like need to pass out at this point. This is going to start at a 10. Unless you guys decide to take a sleep.
Oof. I may want to chalk my thing down for taking a nap.
Nat 1. Alicia stumbles. A little
Walk
bit.
through the threshold, talk for a couple minutes, and then just knees buckle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's odd. Ow.
Gaiman looks to you, Akia, sees that from Alicia and says, "Hey, mate, I know you don't want to hear this, but I think it's best if we don't push forward. We might all need a little bit of shut-eye, even if we operate in shifts."
See.
We don't know what kind of challenges are going through the rest of these doors. One had us decide the life of those oldies. The last one we just had to walk for nearly a whole day. Who knows what the rest of them may be.
All right. Someone should stay up. If these crowns seem like they're going to fade, we might need to hurry and complete the challenges.
Speaking of which, and looks at everyone else's crowns, did they change in any way?
Your crowns now have 2 glowing prongs upon them.
Okay, so glowing means good.
You guys look at each other, right? Glowing's good, right?
I hope that means good. If I recall correctly, there's beds nearby.
I suppose if there are beds, then the druids that came before did rest.
And there are beds here for people to rest in if they would like to take a rest.
I would like to take a rest, DM.
Absolutely.
As best as we can, sure.
Yeah.
Akia will rest, but they will be watching the crowns the entire time. Until someone comes and takes a shift or something.
The B team, including Ukuma, will stand guard so that you guys can begin your watch.
This has been a very long, weird day.
I've been wearing those boots of the winter for so long that I almost forgot how, one, freaking cold it was, but also two, how difficult moving in snow is. And Alicia will kind of just curl up against the wall and try and get a little bit of shut eye.
Akia watches you all sleep.
Right. Well, team, you can go ahead and hit the long rest button. You are able to gain a long rest in this location.
Does the mist affect how many hit points we get back?
It only affects hit points healed through the hit dice.
Okie dokie.
Ooh. But then, do we get all of our hit dice back on the long rest?
That's a good question. You do recover all of your hit dice. It just affects the roll of healing with the hit dice.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
And I need to adjust my spells.
Yeah, same here. Well, I don't think I need water walk anymore, but I also don't know what these trials are going to be.
When that beats some shit, you're like, okay, I don't need water walk.
Don't need water walk. Go through the next door. Oh, hey, you have to cross this frozen lake. Son of a bitch.
This Auril is a tricky lady. She knew what we were gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we'll have the day pass on here.
Yeah. Say, eventually, Lotus will wake up and she'll start to reflexively reach for cigarettes. Remember that she doesn't have them. And then she'll open up to a blank page in her notebook and write days without smoking and put down a single tally.
We have isolation and preservation remaining.
Any of those feel particularly interesting to you all? Gaiman will ask.
Well, I guess it depends on what they mean by isolation. I mean, spent a good amount of my childhood feeling isolated.
Like Gaiman will say, and it feels like we won't really know until
We cross the threshold. Um. Hmm. I guess preservation. May as well see what that's about. guess we just rip the bandage off and see what isolation's about. I would really hope that we don't get or go missing right when we're getting close to finishing these trials.
I don't want us to go missing either. Gaiman says, whatever happens, I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't happen.
I don't remember how my infusions work. It's been it's been so long. Y'all continue. I just gotta look up how infusions work real quick.
On how many things you can do and stuff?
Okay, I know 6 infusions. I can infuse 3 items at a time, plus 2 on my armor. Okay.
Calculus over there.
Yeah, it's a lot actually. Okay, so Kumakyu is 1, Radiant Ring is 1. I mean, Spell Refueling Ring is 1. Okay. Okay, so I'm dropping Cloak of the Manta Ray and putting
I guess
shield.
Looking into this hallway. Oh, it's not until we get to this one. Looking at the door. Which one does this one read?
Carved into the lintel above the door is the word isolation in common.
Okay, maybe if you don't know, I'll go look it up. If I know an infusion, so basically, I don't have enough. What's it called? Attunement slots to do all of my infusions once, because there are a lot of them use attunement slots. Can I use one infusion that I know for more than one of my daily infusions? Like, I can infuse 3 items a day.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use the same infusion known to be more than one of my infusions for the day?
So what's the one you want to do multiple of?
Enhanced defense. On a suit of armor or a shield, you can put +1 armor class.
So are you wanting to do both your armor and your shield?
Right.
Let's see here.
Or you know what? Actually, I can just...
No, you can't.
Okay.
Because you can't use the same infusion twice. Each infusion can only be used on one item at a time. So,
Okay, can Alicia or Gaiman use a repulsion shield? Do either of them have a free attunement slot for a repulsion shield?
Unfortunately, no. Because we're doing attunements equal to our proficiency bonus, right?
Right.
mhm.
Yeah, I am full up on attunements.
Yeah, same here.
Then I guess I will. Okay, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out before we get into anything heavy.
What do you think, friends? Are you going to move into the isolation room?
Well, Akia, you seem so gung-ho about this, so maybe you should go first.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if maybe if this is the last one and nobody else wants to do it, and I don't think that, because there's always a chance that I will fail the test of preservation, because we don't know what it is. So I was thinking, if I pass this one on my own right now, but then failed preservation, then we all fail. But if we all passed preservation, then only one of us needs to pass this one, possibly. I don't know. We should all try to complete all of the trials successfully.
I would agree with that. We're not entirely sure how this whole thing works. If we came into this chamber, does Auril expect all of us to pass at the same time, or does she want only one of us to pass? We just don't know. So may as well have all of us pass, and that kind of solves that question.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, shall we?
Okay, so how I'm going to do it is I'm going to unattune from the fire resistance and attune to get an attunement slot, and then attune to the repulsion shield. So that'll make it work.
Hey.
All right, I'm ready. Hope this isn't a thing where we have to run through fire. Akia will open the door.
All right. As Akia opens the door, you are all pulled deep into the darkness. Your surroundings begin to vanish into a flurry of ice and snow. As your vision begins to clear, you find yourselves standing at the edge of a clearing. You see that there's a camp being absolutely pelted with snow. All of the warriors within the camp appear to be sharpening their weapons. And here, let me drop you guys onto the map.
Did we go into isolation?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys are on the other side of the map from this camp. You can see kind of stalking the camp is a large saber-toothed cat. As the camp is ready, sharpening their weapons, as one of the warriors in the camp casually throws treats of cut meat to the saber-toothed cat. What do you all do?
Sure are a lot of people here. Just Akia just looking at his own party members. I was kind of expecting a little bit more isolation. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, seems like each of these trials has a gimmick to it, so guess we'll learn what the whole deal is.
They definitely see Akia coming because they have a very large light on them. Is this a lake frozen solid?
Correct.
Just my unprepared water walk, son of a bitch.
Akia will wave across the lake. Well, it's isolation, so they should probably stay on their side of the lake, and we'll stay on our side of the lake.
This warrior, standing near the saber-toothed cat, carrying the large great axe, walks to the clearing, her saber-toothed cat, slowly making its way with her. And she says, "Hail and well met, strangers of Auril. Even from here, I can see the floating crown of Lady Frostkiss on your head.
Hello.
Why don't you come to the fire so that we may talk?"
I don't know if that's allowed. Hold on, let me confer. Do you think we're allowed to go over to the fire? I mean, this is supposed to be a trial of isolation. If we go over there, we're not isolated. I mean, we're in the middle of the wilderness, so we're sort of isolated, but we'll be a lot less isolated over there.
I mean, we can always leave and go back if we have to stay isolated.
I don't know.
Who are we speaking to?
You are speaking to the queen of the Reghed Tribes. My name is Bjornhild, Solvig's daughter, queen. And this here is my pet.
Nice to meet you. We, I guess are the emissaries of Auril. We were to name ourselves.
You are Auril's emissaries, truly?
I wouldn't say truly. Well, it's complicated.
We are today.
Well then, she turns back. Auril has blessed us, she shouts. The Frostmaiden has sent emissaries to watch our infirm and weak while we complete our mission.
And what mission would that be? Every place we've gone to seems to have had some type of, I guess, need.
Oh. We are planning to attack a nearby enemy tribe and steal their food. I plan to take every one of my warriors. Our numbers will shock and awe the weak elk tribe to give up without even putting up a fight.
Wait, hold on. Did you just say the elk tribe?
Yes.
That's correct.
Hey, but before we get too far into helping you, if I may ask a simple question, what would you say the date is today?
The date. She looks to someone and says, "You believe that she's whispering? What the fuck is a date? What is he talking about?" There may be a mistranslation on my part. Common is a language that us Utgards do our best to learn, but there are some things that we have troubles with.
Okay. Akil will shrug to the party. So they want us to watch their sick and infirmed while they raid another tribe.
Tribe that we just helped march 14 hours across the tundra.
I mean, maybe this is before they traveled or after they traveled. What if we would have come here first and they would have attacked and then we went to help them travel? It's very confusing. And it's possible that it's different section of the elf tribe. I don't know.
Yes, it's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
But isolation. What do you know about the teaching of Auril saying anything about isolation as like a tenet?
From what I can recall, here comes a religion check. I know everything apparently.
In solitude, you can understand and harness your full potential. Depending on others makes you weak. Guys, can we talk about how problematic Auril is?
Just a tad.
I mean, you're not telling me anything I don't already know. That's even in character.
Are you saying Auril needs therapy, or?
Just her viewpoints are very problematic. You have to isolate yourself because you can only trust yourself.
You have to be cruel to others so that you don't, let people close to you. You have to endure in order to, I don't know, something get stronger.
Yes, it's very problematic. It's no surprise that the rest of the Mayar, like the other nature violence gods, are like, "Auril, you suck."
Well, all right. Well, that's isolation, as according to the tenets of Auril. This is the weird one, because the request is for us to help her while she goes off and does her thing.
I'll lean in and whisper. I mean, we would only be isolated if they go off and all die and don't come back. It seems like doing the thing that these tribal leaders ask us to do helps us complete our trials. But this one I'm not sure if helping them helps us complete our trial. How many sick and infirm do they have? Maybe if they don't have a lot, we would be... Or are we supposed to... I don't know. Oh, excuse me. If we weren't here, would you leave people with your sick and infirmed, or would they just have to fend for themselves while you went to battle?
Half of us would remain, not only to keep them safe, but to ensure that our bountiful goods and our stronghold isn't taken over. She holds her arms aloft towards her kingdom of tents.
So, if we go over and help them... Okay, I'm just thinking. If we go help them, their sick and infirmed will be neither more nor less isolated. We will be less isolated if we go help them. I just don't know.
So it sounds like if these warriors and the queen leave, camp will be isolated by itself and have to fend for itself because there's only the sick and the elderly and the infirmed here.
Okay, well that makes sense. Tell you what, maybe I don't know. All right.
So we would be joining the camp in its isolation while its defenses are down. I don't know. This one's a bit more vague.
Yes.
Notice, what do you think? Should we watch this camp for them? While they go and attack another group?
Well, I don't see why not. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I just can't help but feel that there's some other wrinkle to this whole thing. Like, I mean, there has to be, right?
I mean, I was thinking that we would all just be in complete isolation, but if that was how the trial was supposed to be, then
We would have just been dropped in the middle of nowhere.
Right. We were dropped next to this tribe for a reason. So, I suppose we should head over and see how it goes.
All right.
We will seek out isolation, I guess.
Queen Brunhild, yes?
Yes.
We're coming over, and we'd like to talk further, if that's okay.
Of course. We would always give reverence to Queen Auril and her emissaries.
Something about that line is a bit like it's off to Alicia. Because I don't think I've heard anyone else refer to Auril as like queen, right?
No, not that you can remember. I don't think.
I don't think Gaiman rested.
I got him. He did not. He gets rid of his bad luck spiral, which is really good.
It's nice to meet you, now that we're not yelling across the frozen water.
Yes, that was getting pretty harsh on my voice, she says.
So, to recap, you have your tribe here. You wish to go attack and raid another tribe to take their supplies. And
Yes.
you are concerned for the ones that won't be able to come along would be the only ones remaining here.
Yes.
Okay. Does this place get attacked often? Do tribes attack each other often? I guess that's another question.
The tribes of the Utgard are not allied as one. We often come into conflict with one another over resources, over land.
I see. Well, I guess as emissaries of the Frostmaiden, we are tasked to assist you.
Excellent. The task should only take us but a day or two to solve our issues.
Okay.
See.
So the queen will look to you and say, all we will need you to do is stay here at our camp for, as I said, a day or two. We will go and take care of our business with the elk tribe. Just make sure nothing bad happens while we're gone.
I mean, bad stuff will surely happen, but we'll handle it.
Where are those that are sick? I would like to tend to them and keep it out of my mind of what's happening outside the camp.
The queen will show you that the members of the sick are all within these caravans that they have came upon, honestly. And they are being, kind of covered and wrapped in blankets as they are kind of dealing with the illnesses of frontier living.
That they came upon, honestly. Sure. Okay, Miss Raider.
It's an interesting way to put that.
It just fell off the back of a truck.
Oh, these trucks, they're just going way too fast. They probably should have kept their wagons hitched properly. They were just lying on the side of the road.
If the wagons hitched properly, absolutely.
But yeah, Alicia is going to try and keep the thought of another tribe being attacked out of their mind and preoccupying themselves with the sick.
I love that. That's very in character for Alicia.
They couldn't help during the cruelty trial, but god damn it, fuck you or I'll help these people here.
You gotta help them. At some point, they're gonna get helped. I love that. Oh, by the way, y'all, I need to award inspiration to you all for how you have been RPing out these very kind of difficult challenges so far. So everyone should add 1 DM inspiration, and I will add 1 to game in sheet.
Thank you.
And I'm going to tell him...
You know, there looks like there might be a cave over there. Maybe part of the trial is, maybe one of us goes in that cave and get some extra isolation.
Does that mean you're volunteering?
I mean, if someone else wants to go in.
Okay. And Lotus just starts strolling towards the cave.
Really?
I swear you two.
And Akia doesn't do the whole wait thing. They're just like so confused. They just kind of look like, what just happened?
Oh,
As
Akia.
as Lotus walks away.
Well, she'll stop like about here, then turn around and say like, "Oh, Akia, I thought you said you weren't interested."
I did not say that. I suppose if you also want to go in the cave for extra isolation, we could play rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to go in the cave.
Well, I'll go back to Akia.
I feel like Gaiman would definitely interrupt this.
All right.
Gaiman is saying, I just had one thing on my mind this entire time. Akia, you are so incredibly gung-ho for all of these challenges. It's throwing me for a loop, mate. But do you know what I mean? It's like you're wanting to throw your entire self into all of these challenges.
Well, I mean, other than the first one, we've only had 2 challenges so far. The first one was difficult, and the second one was also difficult in a different way, but doable. And they just seem very important. And this one seems like it might be an opportunity to reflect and think and be alone and,
Sure, mate. I don't know. It feels off.
Well,
they're just important.
Well, Akia, you remember when I was telling you the story of Alan Wake before? Do you know who else was in the dark place? She'll lean in really close and say, Mr. Scratch.
I have no idea who you're talking about. And I also don't understand the relevance to the conversation. OOC, I also don't get it.
Well, it's a short version. It's like, you remember the whole like Chardolin possession thing that happened before? It's essentially the same thing.
Oh, okay. Are you implying that maybe I'm possessed? I don't think so.
Well, I'm just thinking that, like, you here, like, you know, everyone else has been possessed by some sort of dark, evil force before, and only one of us, she points to herself, hasn't.
Okay.
So perhaps I might be resistant to it, so maybe I should go in.
Um. I mean, if you really want to. I was
Right.
kind of just hoping to get some alone time to work on my projects, honestly. I don't actually think it's part of the trial.
You see, she'll give you a smile, and then she'll just take a step back and be like, well, go ahead.
Okay. And yeah, Akia will just go start exploring. They're not doing anything crazy. They're just sort of looking around, looking for a nice place to, anticipating the isolation that will come when the uh, attack party leaves. They're just scouting out a location to set up a little makeshift workshop.
Sure. Okay. So we know Akia is holed up in the cave, kind of using that time to set up a workshop. The tribal warriors loyal to the Tiger Tribe are going to get themselves set. While that is going on, we know what Akia is going to get up to while they are gone. We know Alicia is going to be doing the medical side of things, trying to fix up the beaten, broken down, and sick members of the Tiger Tribe. What will Lotus get up to?
I guess, like, wanting to, like, to keep yourself busy and also keep yourself away from smoking habit, she'll offer to assist Alicia in any way that she can.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's anything that Alicia needs help with, and they see that you're willing to participate, then yeah, they'll put you to work.
I guess hearing this, though, she'll talk to you and say, like, it's like, I don't really like this whole, the whole isolation thing just never really appealed to me. Because, like, my mother's whole thing with the whole union thing, it was whole, and she'll sort of, like, hold up a, like, clenched fist, It was, their whole motto was, like, solidarity now, solidarity forever. It's about finding strength in like-minded people.
Well, different faiths have different faiths, I guess. If they find strength in isolation, then I mean, I guess I'm not one to argue.
Well, I'll say this, and she'll whisper softly to you, make sure we're, like, away from anyone here. And I'm like, tell you this, if Auril really cared about me, she wouldn't have left me out in the cold.
I don't think compassion is one of Auril's strong suits.
She'll just give a nod, very much agreeing with you.
Excellent. Awesome. The tribe of the tiger will all gather. Their warriors will kind of all come together. You see the queen of the tiger tribe gets it on the back of her saber-toothed tiger. And she looks to you all and says, "We will be back in 1 to 2 days' time. Please make sure my village doesn't burn down by then."
We'll do what we can.
He nods. "Thank you." And the tiger tribe will move out to sea, or not to sea, excuse me, out into the sea of snow, pushing out from their camp and leaving you all isolated here in the snow. And with that, I will take us back to the start page, and we will finish the final 2 tests in our next session of Rime and the Frostmaiden, and we can find out how isolated will the characters really be. All right, team. That was a fun session for me to roleplay out all of those kind of different tribal tribesmen and kind of see what your reaction to all of them will be. I am excited to continue playing through this section of the adventure to see how you guys deal with the problems that these isolation tests are going to put in front of you, and how you come on top.
Why can't one of the trials be of kindness? At least she's not a good cook, but they can throw a mean bake sale together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This isolation trial isn't nearly isolating enough. It's okay.
That's funny.
It's okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys have a good holiday weekend, and I will catch you guys next time for Rime the Frostmaiden. I'm going to head to bed, guys. Bye.
Night.
Thanks for
All
running,
right,
Orf.
good game. Good night.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.